Hey guys, we're live, and today we are going to check out the Stormlight Archive. Just kidding, that's not the name of the book, that's the name of the series. The Way of Kings. I am super excited to talk about this one today. It's a hot topic among the fantasy world. So far, I personally have loved everything Sanderson that I've read. Um, but I'm a little nervous getting into the Stormlight Archive because there's a lot of hype and that can ruin books. Because you guys know how it is. You've gone to see a movie or read a book where everybody was talking about it. The trailer looked awesome or whatever, and then it wasn't that good. Like the trailer was all the good stuff. So, I'm hoping that that's not the case for the Way of Kings, but you never know. And so the hype has me a little worried, and also, um, but mostly I'm like, I guess worried because I know that there's a lot to keep track of with Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere. I've been reading Mistborn Era 2 and Mistborn Secret History, I think is what it's called. And finding out a lot more about the Cosmere. And I just want to get it all. I want to understand it all. And um, I want to understand the inner workings of the Cosmere. Like I know that there's like a greater magic system going on, and then there's like the little magic systems that are happening kind of in each book, and I want to understand all of it. Um, and I've been under the impression that the Stormlight Archive is where that like Brandon Sanderson's like Cosmere kind of explodes. And so I'm hoping that my mind is ready for it. But we'll just have to see. Um, yeah, no kidding. Mind blown emoji is definitely what deserves this, or what the chat deserves right now. So the reason I picked it up is, honestly, like literally because everyone talks about it. Like everyone talks about Stormlight, so like part of it is FOMO. Like I have to read it because everyone's talking about it, but also because I just like Brandon Sanderson, and so I want to read something else by him. Um, he this one's everyone's favorite, Brandon Sanderson, well, most everyone's, and so gotta read it. So let's see, cover and blurb. We always talk about these. I don't really know what's going on in the cover. It kind of looks like a metal guy. Oh, duh, that's the back. I thought that was the front of his head. So a guy in armor and a cape, and I don't know, it looks cool. I'm assuming these are the Shardlands. We haven't seen them in the story yet. They've just talked about them. And I mean, it's called the Stormlight Archive, and you got this massive storm cloud. So, like, I don't know, seems pretty on point to me and pretty solid fantasy cover. Um, and so let's see the blurb. It says, I long for the days before the last desolation, before the heralds abandoned us and the knights radiant turned against us, when there was still magic in Roshar and honor in the hearts of men. In the end, not war but victory proved the greatest test. Did our foes see that the harder they fought, the fiercer our resistance? Fire and hammer forge a sword, time and neglect wrested away. So we won the world, yet lost it. Now there are four whom we watch: the surgeon, forced to forsake healing and fight in the most brutal war of our time; the assassin, who weeps as he kills; the liar, who swears her scholar's mantle over a thief's heart; and the prince, whose eyes open to the ancient past as his thirst for battle wanes. Um, One of them may redeem us. One of them will destroy us. So that sounds pretty epic, honestly. I like, just from the blurb, I'm like, yes, this book is gonna be so awesome. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Oh, in the chat it says, I thought Mistborn was the favorite. I think Mistborn is the one that like people jump in on, but people who have read the majority of Brandon Sanderson's stuff, I feel like everybody says Stormlight, 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 Stormlight. But I mean, maybe Mistborn is like the favorite just because it's more well known. I don't know. I guess maybe we'll have to take a poll on that one sometime. Okay, so let's see. So what's happening? Um, Good question. So there's a prologue to the prologue, first off. So there's a prelude, a prologue, and a chapter one. So I had to read all of that for this video. So the prelude, you've got two immortal kings. I think one of them's name was Kalak. I don't remember the other one. So they're talking about giving up their oath, which they don't really say what their oath is, but it has something to do with like millennia of suffering and I don't know, being gods or heroes. I like it's very much like these two characters know what each other's talking about, but they don't necessarily tell the reader everything. So there's that, and I'm kind of wondering if that is the last desolation or whatever that the blurb was talking about. But again, I don't know, so it's just a guess. Um, and then let's see. So oh, and then they give it up. They just say, you know what, like we're walking away from this, and they leave it for one person, one of their like immortal kings that were all doing this. They leave one can still doing whatever they were doing, I guess suffering and being a god. I don't really know. But they leave one and say, like, hopefully he can hold off all the evil in this world and walk away. So yeah, that's not gonna work. We already like that's not gonna happen. That guy's not gonna succeed by himself. Then the prologue is 4,500 years later, and I'm guessing that it's either where we haven't quite seen the entire effect of what these gods like stopping their job. Like we haven't seen those effects yet, or maybe this is 4,500 years into the effects. I'm not totally sure how that works. It's epic, so there's a long time for things can take a long time to work themselves out. So the prologue follows his character. I'm just guessing it's Seth, but there's a Z in there and an S, so I'm not, maybe it's Seth, I don't know. But he's like basically a conflicted assassin. His culture says don't kill, but he's an assassin. His job says kill. So he like basically spends most of the chapter talking about how he's got to do this kill, but he doesn't want to. And this was such a cool scene. Seth, whatever, has some powers like to manipulate gravity. And so it was pretty reminiscent to me to the scene in I just forgot the name of that movie. Inception, where they're like bouncing around the hall because the van is moving and gravity's all messed up inside the dream. And it was just cool. I really liked watching him use his magic and playing around with gravity and jumping from wall to wall. And I guess more it's kind of like the walls or like the floor is shifting. You could kind of see it that way. It was just all cool. And so he's going after a king, and obviously guards get in the way, and but he eventually does kill the king. And so that was basically the prologue. He kills the king, and then we jump 5 years for the first chapter. Yeah, this scene was honestly really cool. If you love Inception, at least you'll like that scene. I don't know if you like the rest of the book, but that scene was pretty awesome. So 5 years later, in the first chapter, we find out that assassination started a war, and it's still going on. And but we actually don't really get into that war very much in this first chapter. We're instead following a character named Sin, I think, or it's Cenn. I guess that's Sin. I don't know. And he is this like young, I think they said he was 15, this young soldier who like left the farm and is wondering, why did I leave the farm? This is stupid. I'm scared out of my armor. And like, should I be putting up my shield right now? I don't know what's happening. It's war. Excuse me. I have bronchitis, so that's not fun. Um, so he just really doesn't want to be there anymore, and he's freaking out. And then his commander, oh, and he just got thrown into this squad. And the squad's leader comes up and is like, "Hey, glad to have you. Let's start war," basically. And the squad leader, I think, from all I can tell, is going to be the main character. I mean, you find out that he's the prince, and we just saw in the back of the book that there's a prince who's super important. So I think that Sin is like our way of seeing the prince, and then we're gonna get the prince's point of view probably the majority of the time. But anyway, so Kaladin is like this really cool guy. I think they called it, there was a term for him, storm blessed, which I don't know exactly what that means, but I think that he has the same abilities as the assassin did, as Seth, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It seemed like he did, but again, we haven't gotten his point of view, and there wasn't really a ton of explanation of what Storm Blessed was either. So I'm just guessing. Um, but so as I said, they're not in the actual battle. They're on like in a minor battle, like it's a minor feud. Oh yeah, they're dealing with a border dispute. So I have some notes because there was a lot going on. Yeah, so they're dealing with a border dispute, and then this like battle of over the border starts, and their squad is like really cool, and like hardly anybody's touching them. But as the battle goes on, they actually are still losing, because while they're doing well, the other squads aren't really doing well. And there's kind of like an ebb and flow where like they gain ground and lose ground and stuff like that. But Sin ends up getting injured, and Kaladin shows off how cool he is when he saves him. And then when it looks like just Kaladin's so cool because he's storm blessed and everything, then this way cooler guy shows up that's got like really, like, I don't know, epic godlike armor is the best way to describe it, like glowing or something. And it's just like either like a level above Storm Blessed or like same level. Either way, they have like a legitimate foe in front of them, and not just like random guys in battles. Like this guy is going to take down so many people, or girl. We don't know. At least I don't remember. Let's see. But oh yeah, and then it just kind of ends. Sin passes out, and I'm assuming that chapter 2 is picked up by Kaladin, but I don't actually know because we only read to chapter 1 for these, or through chapter 1 for these videos. So that's like the entirety of what's been going on so far. My thoughts and feelings about it so far are, it's kind of heavy. There's a lot going on, and a lot of cultures and a lot of terms thrown out very quickly. And this isn't uncommon for fantasy, but I would have appreciated a little bit more grounding. And I'm not sure exactly what that would look like. And in fact, even as I'm saying that, I'm kind of thinking that Sin did work as grounding for me, but that was in the first chapter, and I had a prologue and a prelude to get through before I got some grounding. And I feel like maybe a little bit of grounding earlier might have helped not feel so like, whoa, there's so much stuff coming at me. Yeah, I wouldn't feel so water hosed. That's a good way to say it. Let's see. Oh, I'm loving the magic. I think I already made that pretty clear. The bouncing around and like kind of fixing a point where you can have some gravity on that point for a while was really cool. And I'm really, really excited to see where that goes. Along with that, the magic, something I haven't talked about is the shard blades. I don't remember. I think it has a D. I think it's shard. But these blades can, they don't actually hurt skin, or like they can't kill someone physically, but they pierce through to the soul, which is super interesting and goes along with the greater Cosmere magic system as I'm slowly learning about it. And I don't know. I don't know what people have read, so I don't want to spoil all of that. But I learned about it in Mistborn, the Secret History, Mistborn Secret History, whatever it's called. But that's where I learned more about the soul. So if you want to go soul searching, that's a good place to go, I guess. But I get a really I really get the feeling that there is so much to explore in this world. And that is something that's super exciting when it comes to fantasy novels, especially one that is this thick. I If this didn't have a ton to explore, it would be like, why is it so big? So I'm pretty excited to do some exploring with Brandon Sanderson through the Shard Plains or whatever they were called. Um, and Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. So let's do some predictions. Um, it's a little hard because it talked about 4 different characters in the back of the blurb, and I've only met the assassin and the prince as far as I know. And so it's hard to make predictions about an entire book when you only have one chapter, as always. But here we go. So Seth, or I'm just gonna say Seth, but it could be someone else from his culture. I think that they collect final words at the beginning of the prologue and the first chapter. There was like a tiny little, like, I don't know, blurb or excerpt from something. And it seemed like they were final words. And Seth had this moment in the prologue where the king gives him final words, and it's like really important to Seth. Someone's final words are like super, super important. I don't remember exactly what it was. It felt like something from his culture and not necessarily something specific to him, which is why I say maybe it's not him that's like collecting them, but I think someone from his culture is collecting them. Kaladin, the prince, I think his squad will be victorious in this like mini oh my gosh, all I can think of is Spanish. Fronteras, border, this little like border dispute. I think that Kaladin is going to be victorious, and they're going to be called to the real battle where the king is at. Um, and then so that's number 2. And number 3, once Kaladin gets to the real battle, his dad's going to be killed in that battle. That's what I think anyway. Then Kalak, that was one of the immortal kings in the beginning, in the prelude. I think that he is going to be secretly hiding as Kaladin's mentor. I'm not totally sure. I don't even know if he has a mentor, but we're going for it. Then finally, my last one prediction is about a character that I haven't even met yet. So at the beginning, like in the page where it says like part 1, it says Kaladin, and then it has another name, Shallan. I don't know. It could even be, I guess, Shayan or something. But I think that Shallan will go to the soul realm. We've talked about the souls. And I don't know. That's like more of a Cosmere thing, but I think that that's gonna happen just because I said so. So I just realized that could have been a spoiler for somebody, but sorry. Oh man. Well, sorry. Oh no. Looks like my daughter pushed dislike on the video. How rude. Well, you guys better counteract that. Like the video instead of disliking it like my daughter. So let's see. So yay or nay, do I want to read this book? Yes, I do. I'm actually super, super excited about this one. I do think I'm going to take a minute to read it because I just finished Bands of Mourning, and I just read Mistborn Secret History, and like so much Cosmere at once is a little bit overwhelming, and I don't want to do what I did with what was that book? It's the one right here. The Wheel of Time. I don't want to do what I did with the Wheel of Time and get burnt out on it. So I think I'm going to take like a minute to get into it, but a minute doesn't have to be an hour, right? It's a minute. So it will be soon. Anyway, I am probably just saying random stuff now. So announcements next week. Our first chapter test is going to be The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. I am super excited about this book. It is like brand new. I think it maybe even is coming out today. So, and I just really like the cover and the blurb. So I am so excited to check it out. I left a link in the description so that you guys can check it out with me. All we're doing is reading the first chapter. So like, yeah, just there's like no requirements basically. And as you can see, I tell everything anyway. So I guess you don't even have to read the first chapter. But so that's going to be at 7 p.m. June 1st, Mountain Standard Time, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Wednesday, June 1st, The Stardust Thief. And and as I said, I have bronchitis. So this video, actually, I didn't feel too bad, but talking forever might not feel great. So there's a possibility that I might not get a video out this week. I've been trying to take it easy. A video on the weekend. So just FYI. Yeah. So that's what it is. Thanks, guys, for showing up today. Thank you for chatting with me and talking about Stormlight Archive and the Way of Kings. And I will see you guys in the next adventure.